Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening, or good night. This is Jen at Jen's Arty Inclinations, a place to create, share and play.
Hi everyone, I'm back with the Doodle challenge that Leigh at Leigh's Art Studio and Julie at Art and Junk Journals with Julie co-host. The Doodle challenge is called #2022 Doodle Challenge, and this one has JUN on the end. So there it is on screen for you. Now this month I've actually put up two separate videos from the same session. This video is using the main prompts, which is white and circles. And as you can see, there are lots of swaps or bonuses that we can use. The first one here, I simply, as you saw, did a dotted circle around a lid that I had that was a nice wooden lid. I then have done a little dotted circle in the middle there, and now I'm just doing some straight lines out from the centre. This is probably, I think, the simplest out of all of them that I've done, and it might even be my favourite, but it's quite effective and quite lovely on the black paper. The pens that I'm using are the Signo pens in the white gel pen, and I thought that just seemed a simple way to use the white element of the challenge this month. Here I'm just doing some almost paisley kind of shaped teardrops in there that are at a bit of an angle, and then I've put some little circles and I'm doing some little dots around the edge. Dots, in some ways, they're like mini circles. This first one uses a combination of lines and dots. And hey, there is a circle in the middle of the paisley, and the challenge did mention that you could use paisley as, the circle inspiration as well, so that was lovely. Initially, I wasn't sure if I'd do dots all the way around. I wasn't sure if I'd do them on every line, so you can see I'm going on opposite edges there. And then I actually quite liked it, so I did end up putting them all the way around, but I did it on every second one. And it just adds a little bit of dimension to the piece. So there you go. There wasn't much more to this. I'm almost finished this little section, as you can see as I go around. I think you can pick up the detail there. So much fun this month. I haven't actually drawn on black paper, gosh, for such a long time. I use it a lot for shadow work, and I use it a lot for borders and lots of different things like that. That's why I ended up having such a big long session, because I just really enjoyed using it. And again, the challenge helped me use something different, which was really cool. So there's the first one, all done. And now you'll see what I do with the next one. The next one, I made it pretty simple. I just did lots of circle shapes just randomly on the page. And then I'm going to fill in each of the little segments with different kind of doodles. So I've got the circle part of the challenge with the actual, circle border edge thingy whatsits. And now, obviously, white is the challenge that is the white highlight. So now I'm just playing. Just got carried away, did some dots, did some lines. But even this was good because it taught me a little bit, made me play just as I was moving along. While I was doing these lines, I did a little gap, and I thought that was quite nice because it just added a little bit extra, a little bit of dimension to it. That's my theory. I don't know if it's true or not. So just adding this crisscross in here, see how that just makes it all feel a bit different? And in this next one, I did a little zigzag shape. And what did I do in the last one? Oh yeah, that's right. I did circles. So every time I got stuck on anything, I thought, okay, I'll just use circles. So you'll see pretty much I go back to circles a lot in this one and in the next one. Circles are a great way to fill in any random shapes because they really kind of fill in any odd shape you want them to, which is really lovely. So you can see it start to come together there. In this one, I was going to do circles in the big circle, but then I kind of liked the randomness of that little strip going across. Here I did some wobbly lines. So you can see I'll just slow it down. See how I'm just wobbling the pen as I go down? And I love that effect. It's almost like a wood grain kind of effect. So this one is particularly random. It's probably my least favourite in all of them, but it's probably the one that got me really comfortable just getting into these tiny shapes. It wasn't so overwhelming, and it just got me really into the rhythm of doing some shapes. Now here, see how I've missed little pieces? That just looks like a little highlight in that section. Isn't that cute? So, all right, lines, another easy way. Every time I got stuck, just do some lines and follow the contour. The closer together your lines are, the more shape you can get. Always lovely to do those little aura fill-ins. And here I did another little gap again, and I had no idea what I was going to do in this gap. And so in the end, what did I do? Oh, that's right. I did some lines and circles. There you go. I used both. So this one is almost done now. I felt like I wanted to leave some space, but I didn't want to leave them completely blank. So I outlined some of them, and then I left these two last circle pieces, and I put some little, air bubbles or light bubbles in them. Not quite sure what's the right term. So that's the second one. And now the third one on this is a technique I'd like to play with a little bit more, and that is cutting out shapes and actually doing the doodling around them. So lately I've been doing lots of actual outlines and doing the doodles in the outlines to add some texture and just make them look a little bit different. And they're great for sticking on to pieces, like making them as a journal card, and so sticking the little piece on the front of the journal card and that sort of thing. This time I thought I want to actually make the blackout shadow the piece, so I cut out that really wonky, crazy looking butterfly. I know I can do a better job than that, but I was just into the rhythm of seeing how this looked. Here I did some little circles, then I did some circles inside the circles, and then I did some lines out from the circles. So, nothing's very complex. It's all just repeat patterns. In probably this one and the last one, it's more about repeat patterns. The first one was a little bit different, but it was still a pattern. But these last two are similar in style, where it's creating lots of smaller segments and filling them up with pieces. Here I did some flowers, and I did flowers and some coloured in circles to fill up the gaps between the flowers. And actually I kind of like that, so I'm going to use that again. Again, I think that would be really cute. Imagine a journal card that's got a black border on it with a picture inside it, and something like this little flower as a border around the edge on the black. So as I'm doing this, it just makes me think of so many ideas. It gets you comfortable with using your pen and paper, which is really nice. And you can see the difference in just circles and the difference you can get. So on the left there, I've got really, really tiny circles. Here I've got big ones. Above I've got ones with lines in them. And this is almost like a circle checkerboard where I've filled in the background. So that gives a bit of shadow, a bit of boldness, and a bit of contrast, adding coloured in bits. Here I did spirals, but again, I did them differently to how I normally do them. I did really big spirals with some little ones. And again, that's something else I quite like. It gives a really lovely texture. This was just texture, just adding little loops, filling in the whole shape. And then, it's really hard for me to not have scallops somewhere. So I did a little scallop down here. They're great for things like fish scales and that kind of thing. Then just some squiggly lines, and that filled up that space. Here I did some crescents. And again, I am all the way through this particular one trying to think circle shapes or circular shapes. So I guess it's more curves. However, there's lots of circles like here again too. And here I've done big and little circles. So it is amazing how many different patterns you can get out of just a really, really simple and very basic circle. Now here I wanted to do a check, and I did some little circles in the check, and I wanted to do them, on the opposites. And then I realised I mucked that up and I did two above each other. So then I just coloured in the backgrounds, and I still had my little circles in there, so that worked out fine. Then I thought I'd add a bit more depth and contrast again, just adding another slightly darker one there too, which is really nice because that just helps the composition of your piece. Here I tried a little smudging work. That was really cool to see what the gel pen did. And then I just did some googly outlines around because really I just got bored with doing the circles and the smudges. So that's something else about doodling. When you get bored, just move on. Just do something different. It's no problem if you wanted to fill it all with one. Now here I'm actually doing the lines out from one point in each of these little sections, and I'm doing them on opposing points. So here you can just see me finishing it off and see the effect. I really like that. It creates a really nice effect, and especially beside that one that's just the straight contour. This, I just did some of these, I don't know what they're called, little squiggly shapes, and I just kept playing with them until they filled out. So some of them had the squiggly spiral, others were just loops, and yeah, that turned out fine in the end. I wanted to do a different flower. Almost all of these flowers are just with 4 petals, but again, they create a really interesting design. So these, I just did the 4 petals with little strokes in the centre. And this was right at the end, so I was really tired of doodling now. So I just did some asterisks, but I think that actually turned out okay. So that's the piece you just saw me finish, and this is the one that you'll see me do in the next video. That's the second one I did today in this video. This is the final one that I did in my session, and that was the first one we did. I really like how the first one turned out. Enjoy! See you in the next video. You can like and subscribe below, and as always, keep creating. See you next time. Bye!